Hello everyone, Willie TheBam Johnson here with the Street Combat Predators Defense Talk. Before I go into what the whole purpose of Street Combat Predators Defense Program is all about and why we created it, I want to go over a couple of really important statistical facts right now based upon the current pandemic. Eating disorders, 30 million people. Anxiety disorder, 42 million. Addiction and substance abuse, 20.2 million. Depression, 16 million. And mental disorders, 6.1 million. It's some serious times, man. You know, and it's funny when I really get into discussing these things and, you know, trying to prepare how to use them as an opportunity to progress and move forward. I think back when I was out there running crazy and I knew that things were going crazy, man. Things were wild, but I didn't have no time to worry about it. I was trying to eat. I was trying to get paid. You know, I was a predator. I was out there preying on the hustle. I ain't gonna say I was preying on people. I was preying on the hustle. And regardless of who you were not gonna stop me from getting what I wanted. And that hustle was to get money, to get clothes, to get things that I wanted. You know, I didn't care nothing about martial arts. I didn't care nothing about, you know, your position, your titles, whatever it may be. And we gotta remember, you know, on the streets, it's a different world. You know, that's a whole new different world. You know, once you get caught up in certain areas like Lafayette Projects, where I came up at, you know, in Baltimore City, they had to tear them buildings down. Because once crime happened and the police or anybody came and you got up in them buildings, it was done. It was like the Vietnam War. You were lost. There was no way you could feel familiar. So the only way you could stop the crime, you had to tear down the buildings. So I want us to understand that when I put together Street Combat when I was incarcerated, once again, for me, I needed to, and this is what people need to be doing right now. I needed to analyze myself, first of all. I need to look at my goods and I needed to look at my bads. And I needed to look at how did I get away with so much? And what did I do? And I said, because I don't want nobody else to be like taken advantage of by the person I used to be when I was in that predator mindset. So I wrote down the actual detailed steps that I used or we used to get away with what we got away with and being able to be successful at what we did, to be able to survive so many drug wars and, you know, fist fights and club battles. I mean, you name it. You know, people got contracts out on your head trying to kill you. I mean, and I'm not bragging about any of this. I just need you to understand the realism of where I'm coming from. So I wanted to make sure that I gave the authentic truth for what I was doing and what I did and what the predators was thinking about. What did I think about when I woke up in the morning and it was time to grab your gun and go on the playground and go down and open up shop? What was it? What was it that made you just believe that you ain't cared nothing? You had no fear. You cared nothing about nothing. And even though it was a recession and all that stuff going on, come on, man. You was getting too much money. I give you a prime example. This weekend I was at the flea market. And you would think that with all this is going on, people would be locked down. People would be holding on to their money. I sat there and watched one vendor. This is the underground, people. A world that most people don't even want to go to. I sat there and watched a vendor who sold clothes that represented the whole streetwear. I watched them sell $80 in product, probably like, it had to be well over like 30 or 40 people like wang, 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 wang. And I sat back and I stopped. I said, damn, man. And all what's going on, people still spending money on things that really, you know, have no value. They have no return on investment. But I guess that's how it is. This guy sitting there, he doing hand in hand on product just like a guy would be doing with drugs. Now, let me ask you a question. What do you think's happening with the drug game right now? Exact same thing. The exact same thing. People, all those statistics I threw out to you, people trying to get through stuff, man. People are in pain, you know, and you got to come with some truth. You know, for me, any fight I ever been in or any combative situation I ever been in, yeah, I practiced, I did whatever, but man, I can't tell you what I did. I can't tell you how I got out those shootouts. I'm not going to sit here and claim that I was some tough, bad person who was set out to prove that how bad I was. No. I went based upon survival instincts. Whatever needed to have happen, I adapted to it, I did it, and I came out on the other side. And that's what I try to teach people. Yeah, you know, you're going to do whatever. The other thing about, you got to remember the predator path, the predator, a predator who lurks, who attacks on the, and prey on people and destroy people and eat them up and kill them and destroy them. They ain't in no classroom practicing. They going on impulse. They going on a moment. But they done been successful. Their practice is because they done been successful with those sort of like actions on a regular basis. I don't know how many times, but they done been successful. And that builds up your confidence. You know, when I did bad things, man, when I got successful, one, it pumped me up to do another. It's just like doing something positive. So we got to recognize that, man, come on. We got to think about what are some of the most craziest things that can happen to you. What are some of the most devastating things that possibly could happen to you and your family? When you go to a place, what can happen to you by surprise? What can happen that could jeopardize the safety of your family and you? You know, I'm not the guy that can go in the middle of something or go to a party, go to a club or go somewhere and just sit there and like, you know, when stuff pop off, I'm ready to go. You know, I laugh and I tell my kids, I say, man, I came up in family gatherings when people decided to act out on that animalistic instinct. See, the predator is a animalistic instinct. That's a level we all have. We got the human choice where we can take a higher stand, and we got that animal that's based upon emotion, or based upon anger, frustration, revenge, you know what I mean, regret, doubt, you know, everything that you could possibly imagine. And when it get pumped up and wired up, man, it's kind of hard to stop it. And if you ain't willing to meet it and go a step beyond it, you could forget it. It's done. Forget street combat. Forget the names associated with what you got to do in survival. It's a mindset, man. It's the ability to be able to adapt and flow to this world. Like today, we live in a world of uncertainty. What do you think combat is? It's a moment of uncertainty, man. All you can do is be willing to let go. If you rolling in poop, doo-doo, whatever it may be, you better grab that poop and put it in their mouth. You better rub their face in that spit. You better rub their face in that pee. You better scrape their head across the concrete, whatever it may be. Street combat's no joke, but what I want to bring people to the as close to reality as possible, because ain't no way I even want to go back to that, man. I don't know how I survived it. There's no way I even want to go back to that. So yeah, I structure some concepts, some techniques, some things that bring you close to what I did and what I did in the club and how it all manifested, because everything that I did is a part of what I teach. You know, I went to the club every weekend. I was dancing all the time. How did I survive those encounters? We done been in shootouts. How did I survive those encounters? I done had encounters with authorities, so many different people. How did I survive some? You know, how did I survive jail? What did I do? Most importantly, what did I do to prevent the physical confrontation? Because to me, there's always a consequence to physical confrontation. I can come out on the good side by winning. I guess that's what you want to call it. But I don't really win. Because think of the emotional and the negative pressure that brings on me and it brings on my family. But most importantly, think about if that person decides to bring somebody back to get me. And I'm not expecting. I think it's over, done with. Where I come from, them kids ain't going to let you live with that, man. They're going to come out and find you. They're going to come to your neighborhood. They're going to catch you by surprise. I always think, and this is a lesson people need to think about, don't let your emotions get you so caught up to think that you're untouchable. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care where you at. I don't care who you think you are. Be careful what you say and what you do, because when you got a young or older, a predator, I'm going to say young predator, because everything in self-defense is based upon older people. I'm talking about the young superhuman youth that don't care nothing, young adult, you know what I'm saying? We see them, we were all there, but they don't care nothing about you. They don't care nothing about pain. They don't feel none of that. What are you going to do when that kid, based upon rep and everything they got to uphold, they going to come looking for you? What are you going to do? That's why you got to think this all the way through, man. And prevention is the key to all of this, man. You know what I'm saying? One of my students said, you know, he got robbed, you know, going home one day, and he thought about what I said, you know what I'm saying? Being able to adapt and flow. Get a man your wallet, give him your money, man, let it go. You know, he said, yeah, Professor, I thank you so much because I saved my life. You know, no, you saved 3 people's lives. You saved the 2 guys that was robbing you, and you saved your own life. Hey, you can live good. And that's what street combat is all about. It's about keeping it real. It's about being in tune to the reality and being able to adapt and flow to the uncertainty that's going on in those environments, man. And if you can run like hell, get the hell out the way. Don't sit there try to be no tough person. You know what I'm saying? Because there's levels to this, man. There's cultures that you could practice all the technique all you want. It ain't gonna go like that. And I ain't trying to put nobody down. Ain't gonna go like that. Nothing gonna go the way it is. You know, it's just like going to school. You can learn all that stuff when life hits you upside the head. It ain't gonna go nothing like that. So you better think about the most devastating. You better think about a world out there in them communities or amongst people. You better recognize the culture. You gotta understand it. You gotta understand the language, the tonality, the codes and all that stuff. If you don't know all that, man, you wasting your time. Because you ain't even going to get a chance to execute that technique. It's going to be done. And I'm going to leave it with this. As Champ Nichols said, he said, bam, guess what? You can't even teach a CEO self-defense. He ain't got no time to be rolling on the floor. He got too much money. I'll leave you with that. Point MMA.